Hey everybody, this is Robin Taylor at Taylor Freelance. I'm here to chat with you about troubleshooting a Canik TP9 magazine with a Taylor Freelance base pad installed. So, Taylor Freelance base pads are quite easy to deal with generally, as long as you know what you're doing as far as taking the mag apart, and they're pretty straight ahead. But if you don't, they can be really problematic. One of the first things is just getting the base pad off. You have to push the base pad has a locking hook on it. That in order to get the base pad off, you have to push the internal locking plate forward and down to get it to release. So forward and down. Once you get it off, it's a very easy mistake to accidentally think that this is still relevant. The Taylor Freelance base pads all have except for the +0s, have a locking screw on the back, and that locking screw is on the outside of the magazine. So this little plastic piece on the bottom is really not needed. So if you leave it in there, it will go, but it's going to use up extra capacity and you won't get +4 rounds. You'll get +3 or +2 if you're lucky. It has caused worse problems than that. So be sure this is out of the picture. When you go to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, all you have is a follower, a spring, and our base pad. So as you put it together, it's common for people to use their thumb to get the spring to go in. And this is a little hard to show. I'm not very good at setting up the error, but one thing that can occur, and I'll just use this for effect, is that the spring can go, other than launching itself across the room, the spring, as it's getting twisted around to go into the base pad, can end up turning 90 degrees this direction. So what happens is you'll end up with the spring in here, but it's sideways on the bottom. So it'll load the first 10 or 12 rounds just fine, and then it will hang up on that sideways turned coil. So if that's you, if you're ending up with like +1 out of a +4 extension, it's likely that your spring is turned like this. So in order to fix that, take everything back apart again, and when you go put Humpty Dumpty together, don't squish it this way anymore. Do this. This is what we do with the +9 extensions typically, is we'll push down with the spring in the tube and the spring in the base pad at the same time until you can get and worm the two together. It takes a bit of fiddling. Of course, it's fighting me now that I'm doing it on camera. There we go. And then tighten the screw and you're good. This way you know the spring is flat in the bottom and flat in the top, and it will figure itself out in the middle. The other way people can have issues is if, Canik uses several different molds to make magazines. There's a 18-round mold, a 15-round mold, and a 12-round mold, and a 10-round mold at the minimum. And each of those molds are not 100% exact. And then they get worn out and replaced over time. So there's slight variances in the magazine, especially if they've decided to use an alternate manufacturer that week. Most of these are Metcar magazines. Hard to know about the rest. So if there's any misalignment, for example, between our base pad, the cavity in our base pad, and the cavity in the magazine, when the follower comes sliding down the back of the mag tube, it has the potential to run into the top of whatever misalignment is present between the two pieces. So what I tell people to do, if they get another one of those +1, +2 problems, typically it's +2 in this case, is to take the mag completely apart, take the guts out, take a flashlight and look down into the mag tube and look to see if you can see any little bits of metal sticking out into the course where the follower needs to go. The typical place where you run into problems is the tail end of the follower. It'll come down, slide down the back, and then it'll catch an edge right here as it's trying to drop into the follower. So I'm at +2 and then it stops hard. I'm almost embarrassed we're going to have to tell you this, but the quickest and easiest way to deal with that is to whack it on a table. So I'll demonstrate here momentarily. You assemble the magazine. Load it full of bullets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Until you get all the way down and it comes up tight. Put your thumb on the topmost bullet and go like this. Generally, that will shear off any little edge of plastic that is interfering in such a way that it'll allow the follower to go further from there. It's crude, I know, but it actually works. If it doesn't work, then it's easy. Then the fix is easy enough as well. But that one requires no tools, and it works an awful lot of the time. So if it didn't work, you take Humpty Dumpty back apart, you do the whole looking with the flashlight thing I was talking about, and then you take a little hand file and grind the points off wherever you have interference, and to create a little ski ramp to allow the two pieces to slide past each other. So you're going to do the little ramp on the inside, and then you'll probably have a mark on the follower from when you did the whack-a-mole thing. And then take your file and put a little bevel on it on this side. So the angle on this one will line up with the angle on this one, and the two will go by each other. Anyway, troubleshooting Canik magazines with Taylor Freelance. I'm Robin Taylor. Thanks for watching.